Before we get started, I want you to print out your measurements form and find a measuring tape and a friend to help you. Before you take your measurements, you want to have something tight on, form-fitting, so maybe a cami or leggings. If you plan to wear shapewear or a special bra, make sure you're wearing those garments when you're taking your measurements. And before we take your measurement, I want you to have your friend tie elastic around your waist. And your natural waistline is, if you were to bend to the side, your finger would get pinned. And then you want to tie string around your shoulders. Your armpits make creases right here. Follow those creases all the way up and around. And so you'll do that on each side. And then you want to mark either with a washable marker or a sticker. Go ahead and mark the hollow of the neck. And sometimes I might mark right where the shoulders meet the neckline, right at the base. I would mark right there and right there, right on the very top of the shoulders. We're going to get started with the first measurement. The first measurement is your neck measurement. So I'm going to take the measuring tape and I'm going to be reading the very bottom of this tape here. So I have about just over 13 inches here for this size 0 neck. The next measurement is your bust measurement. This is going to be the largest part of your chest. You want to make sure the measuring tape is straight all the way around and parallel to the floor over the bust. So I have about 32 inches here. Next measurement is the under bust. This is going to be right under your breast there. This is important for me to know your cup size. The next measurement is your waist measurement. And so you're going to measure around. Again, make sure the measuring tape is straight all the way around and parallel to the floor. And we're measuring right where your elastic is around the waist. Next measurement is your shoulder measurement. And I'm measuring right at the base of your neck on the top there. If you made a dot there, you would start right at that dot and you're going to measure all the way to the shoulder string here. So I have about 4 3/4. Your next measurement is your front length. So you're going to go from the hollow of your neck all the way down to your waist. And I have just under 14 inches. The next measurement I need is your back measurement. And you're going to take this right again at the base of your neck. And you go ahead and measure down to the waist. And I have about 15.5 inches. Usually this measurement might be about 1.5 inches longer than your front measurement. The next measurement is figure length. You're going to measure from the hollow of your neck to your breast nipple, and usually it's around 8 inches. The next measurement is your figure breadth. So you're going to be measuring from your nipple to nipple, and you're going to measure just like that. The next measurement is your cross front. So you're going to be using the string that's around your shoulders. You're going to measure from the widest part of your shoulders, which is usually right here, and you're going to just measure straight across like that. And I have about 12 1/4 here. Your next measurement is going to be your cross back measurement. Again, you're going from crease to crease on the widest part of your back. I'm going to measure from here to here, and I have about 12.5 inches. Your next measurement is your high hip and your low hip. So your high hip is probably about 4 or 5 inches down. And so I'm going to measure right here, about 4.5 inches. And you're going to measure just around like this, 4.5 inches down from the waist. And I have about 32 inches. And then your low hip is your widest part of your hip. Here, we're going to be measuring about 7.5 inches down. Same thing, you want to make sure the measuring tape is straight all the way around, parallel to the floor, and I have about 34 inches here. The next measurement I need is the top center of your shoulder down to your waist. So I have about 16 inches. The next measurement is top center shoulder down to your knee. You can measure like that. And then the next one I have there is top center shoulder down to where you want the length of the dress. So if you want it floor length, you can go ahead and give me top center shoulder down to the floor. You can also give me a measurement from your waist down to the floor. The next measurement, I need you to get a piece of cardboard or a ruler, and you're going to put it under your arm. You don't want to put it too high, but you also don't want to put it too low. If it's too high, your armhole is going to be too small. So you're going to be restricted in your movement, or it's going to be really tight and rubbing against your skin. And if it's too low, I will make a cap height that's too big and it's going to restrict your movement. Or if you have a sleeveless dress, if it's too low, your skin is going to show right there. So try and get this accurately right under your armpit, and you're going to just rest it there. Then I need you to get the side measurement, which is measuring from the top of this cardboard here down to your waist. So I have about 7.5 inches here. Then while that cardboard's still sitting there in the same spot, I want you to measure right there on the arm down to your wrist and have the measuring tape follow the arm like that. You're going to go ahead and measure it just like that. Then your next measurement is your arm side measurement. So you're going to go ahead and measure around. You don't want this one to be loose. You want this to be pretty tight. You don't want to do it so tight where your arm is turning blue, but you're going to go ahead and measure like that. Next is your bicep, and this would be the widest part of your upper arm. And you're going to measure the bicep just like that. Then I need you to measure the forearm, and then you're going to measure the wrist. Then for the last measurements, if your dress has sleeves, you're going to measure at the top right where that string is tied at the top center shoulder, and you're going to go ahead, follow the bend of the arm all the way down to the wrist. The next measurement is the top of the shoulder down to the elbow, and then you're going to go ahead and go from the elbow down to the wrist. And one easy way to do this is to bend your arm. That's it for the measurements. I know it's extensive and I don't need all of these, but when I'm making a custom dress, oftentimes the design gets tweaked, so it's helpful to have all these measurements while you have someone to measure your body for you. When you're done, fill out the notes section of this form. I'd like to know if there's anything that you need to tell me, such as scoliosis or an imbalance, or you might lose weight. These are helpful things to know when I'm pattern making your garment. And when you're done, email it to me and I can get started on your pattern.